So now notice the pictures look exactly the same because we're still doing pyramids and cones, okay? But we're doing volume this time. All right, so the formula for volume is exactly the same formula with prisms, except we're going to divide by 3. So this one is going to be volume is big B, which is area of the base, times height of the pyramid. And then we're going to divide by 3. So it's going to be pretty much the exact same thing, except you're going to divide by 3 in the end, okay? So we're going to start with this rectangular pyramid. So this time, all I need is the area of the base and the height. I only need 2 things. So the area of the base, well, since this is a rectangle, it's going to be 10 times 11. So 10 times 11 is 110. And the height, instead of the slant height this time, you're going to use the height that comes from the point, your vertex, which is 16. So now volume is base times height divided by 3. So that's 110 times 16 divided by 3. And just type it in and hit enter. So 110 times 16 divided by 3. So we've got 586.7 inches cubed. And y'all make sure that I put cubed every time because I will forget. And I will accidentally put squared because we just did squared. So that's all you have to do. These 2 things. So when you're doing your assignment, please be sure that you're paying attention to whether it's asking for volume or surface area so you know which formula to use so that you're using the right pieces of your pyramid. All right, number 2. So number 2, I need to find the area of the base. Well, my base is a rectangle again, so that's going to be 21 times 9. So that is 189. The height is the inside from the vertex, so that's 5. So volume is big B times H divided by 3. So 189 times 5 divided by 3 is 315 yards cubed. On number 3, I want you to notice that they did not give you the height. Okay, remember your height, you go to the vertex and your height will go straight down to the very center of your base. This is your height. They did, however, give us the slant height. But I know if I draw this line right here, which goes halfway across my base, so if all the way across my base is 14, then halfway is 7, then I can do Pythagorean theorem to get my height. So you're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem. They give you the slant height, so that means you're going to subtract. So 25 squared minus 7 squared, take the square root. So 25 squared minus 7 squared, then take the square root of your answer, and you get 24. So your height is 24. Area of the base, my base is a square, so that's 14 squared, which is 196. So now I'm just going to do base times height divided by 3. So volume is base times height divided by 3. And oops, let me try typing that in correctly. I'm getting 1568. And that is feet cubed. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Identify your base. If it's a square, find the area of a square. If it's a rectangle, find the area of a rectangle. If it's a triangle, find the area of the triangle. Whatever they give you, okay? So I'm going to find the area of my base. My base is a triangle. I do not know if it's equilateral, so I can't use that little shortcut. But it is just a regular old triangle where they're giving me the height of the triangle. So this is the height of the triangle. This is the height of the pyramid. 2 different heights, not the same thing. So I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. The base is 12. The height of my triangle is 7.5. and then divide by 2. So my triangle is 45. So the area of the space here inside is 45. The height of my pyramid, this is the height of my pyramid, is 10. So volume is big B times H divided by 3, and that is 150 millimeters cubed. On number 5, our base is a right triangle. To find the area of a right triangle, I need to know both legs. I know this leg is 14, so I need to do Pythagorean theorem to find that leg. This is the height of our pyramid. So this is the height of our pyramid. So we know that is 19. I need to find the area of this triangle. So it's going to be 14 times the other leg divided by 2. So let's do Pythagorean theorem to find this leg over here. So we'll call this, if this is A and this is B, because that's how we label a right triangle. So I'm going to say the other leg is 22.1 squared minus 14 squared. And then we're going to take the square root, because you always do that on Pythagorean theorem. 22.1 squared minus 14 squared. And then take the square root, and we get 17.1. So this leg is 17.1. 14 times 17.1 divided by 2 is 119.7. Now we can find the volume, because it is big B times H divided by 3. So it is 758.1 meters cubed. All right, we are going to, let's see, that's an equilateral triangle. Let's go ahead and look at the cones. And then that way we can get started on doing some practice. Notice it's still 1/3. Okay. Your big B is pi r squared. So you're just going to do pi r squared h, just like we did with cylinders, but you're going to divide by 3. So all I need is a radius and a height. Those are the only two things you need. My radius here is 9. My height is 17. Plug and chug. Volume is pi r squared h. Divide by 3. So just type it in your calculator and hit enter. Pi times 9 squared times 17 divided by 3. And you get 1441.99 yards cubed. And you're done. Super duper easy. Okay, let's look at, what's the radius on this one? If my diameter is 5, then my radius is half of that. So my radius is 2.5. Here's my height. My height is h, which is 8. And I'm just going to plug it in. Volume is pi r squared times h divided by 3. And I'm just going to plug that in. Pi times 2.5 squared times 8 divided by 3. I'm getting 52.4 inches cubed. All right. So on this one, they did not give us the height because we need the height. But they did give us the slant height, and we can find the radius, because if my diameter is 27, then my radius is half of that, so my radius is 13.5. So I am going to do Pythagorean theorem so that I can find the height. So I know the height is the slant height squared minus the radius squared. And then I'm going to take the square root, and that will give me the height that I need to do the problem. 22.5 squared minus 13.5 squared. Take the square root. And I'm getting that my height is 18. So volume is pi radius squared times height divided by 3. 13.5 squared times 18 divided by 3. And I'm getting 3435.3 kilometers cubed. All right, so let's look at one where we're going to work backwards. So here they're telling me the cone's volume is 13.9. I know the volume of a cone is pi r squared h divided by 3. So that is the formula that I'm going to need because they're telling me volume. They're giving me the volume. They're giving me h. I need to find the radius. Since the radius is squared, that means I'm going to be taking the square root at the end because I need the radius. So I'm going to take this number 1309. I'm going to set it equal to the formula. Pi r squared 8 for h divided by 3 because your height is, it's important here, the height is 8. So I replaced h with 8. I replaced v with what the volume is. Now to work backwards here, what's the opposite of dividing by 3? So I'm going to multiply by 3. So if I multiply by 3, it's going to cancel out. So 1309 times 3 is 3927. And that is equal to pi r squared times 8. So here is where I'm going to have to divide because all of this is being multiplied, and the opposite is I'm going to divide by the pi and I'm going to divide by the 8. So that means I'm dividing by 8 pi. Again, make sure you're putting parentheses around it so your calculator will know you want to divide. So 3927 divided by parentheses 8 pi, I get 156.25. So r squared is 156.25. And this is where we're going to take the square root. So you get 12.5, and this is centimeters. Sorry, it's crooked. And that is how you do it. This one here is more realistic. It's not a working backwards. They give you an actual pyramid and they want you to find the volume. But then they're telling you how much sand. So there's 3 bags of sand and each bag has 1,200 inches cubed. We're just going to figure out, basically, if you've got 3 bags at 1,200, that means you have a volume of 3,600. I'm going to find the volume of this and see if it's enough sand. Or do we need another bag? Okay, so find your base, just like we did on the front. So I need the volume of the base, which is 25 squared. So that's 625. The height is 18. So I'm just going to plug those 2 numbers in and see if it's the same as this number here. So volume is 625 times 18 divided by 3. 625 times 18 divided by 3 is 3750. And that's inches cubed, just like this is inches cubed. So what I see here is that I have 3,600 inches cubed of sand. But if I'm going to build this particular sandcastle, I need 3750. So I do not have enough. So it says, will she have enough sand to build the castle? No, she needs another bag. And we're done. So let's get started on our assignment.